2013 GMC Yukon Denali, front brake pads and rotors. Raise the vehicle up, support it properly with some jack stands. Remove your tires, 7/8 socket. And then you got your system here, and you got two caliper bolts, one here and one down here. These are 19 millimeters. Remove those two. And then you want to do is pry your caliper out. Remove these two bolts, 19. Get a decent sized screwdriver. Get in between here and there. Pry the caliper away. Okay. Pry the caliper away. And then we'll remove the caliper bracket. And that's an 18 millimeter. They're on the back side also. Two caliper bracket bolts, 18 millimeters. And they're pretty good. You got your caliper bracket. Now you need to get your rotor off. What you want to do is get your T30 and take your Torx bolt out. And I had to use a impact hammer to get it loose, or an impact wrench to get it loose. Sometimes you'll strip them out. If you strip them out, you need a chisel. Get them started a little bit, and maybe you can get what's left of your bit back in there to remove them. Once you get this bolt out, and if your caliper, if your rotor doesn't move, then you'll have to smack it with a hammer in these areas. And if you're gonna get a new rotor, which most likely you are, you can smack the surface with a decent hammer sledge. I use a 3-pound. And this one's loose already. And you want to take them off. Okay, your T30 Torx bolt out. That's what it looks like. If it's stripped out, you can use your little small chisel and turn it counterclockwise to get it out. Okay. Now you got your hub bearing. It's got all this rust around there. You need to get that off of there, get it nice and shiny. I use a die grinder with a disc on it. I get it up, and then I got a Brillo pad, and I use a screwdriver to get inside here, get it nice and shiny, okay? Okay, you got this all cleaned up. You just want to remove the surface rust. You don't want to actually grind it down and make the surfaces uneven, because this is what the rotor sits on. If there's a flat spot or high spot, that's going to cause that rotor to wobble, and that'll give you a brake pulsation. And you got your caliper. I'm going to put your pad in there and use a C-clamp, push the pistons back in. Push them back in like that. Okay. Now you need to work on your caliper bracket. You need to get your pads out. Sometimes the pads are stuck in there, and that's what gives you a big problem. These are kind of loose. So what you need to do is clean them up too. So, I'll get your motors out of there. Get your brackets off. Get your abundant clips off. And you see how they look inside there? They're all rusty and nasty. You want to clean them up with your die grinder, get it in there. You just want to remove the rust a little bit. And once you do that, get them all nice and shiny. And you want to spray some paint on them. Get them nice. Then you want to take your slide bolts out. Put some dialytic grease in there, or some Sil-Glide. Pretty much the same. Put them on your pins, turn them around a bunch of times so it gets in there. And once you got them like that, then you can put your clips back on there. And then you can put your brackets back on. This is what they look like now. And I painted them, as you've seen before. And I put my clips back in there, my abundance. Okay. And I have to tap them in with your screwdriver head handle. I'm going to paint these. And I'm going to put some dialytic grease on there, or some Sil-Glide. Okay. Before you put your rotors on, put a little bit of anti-seize on the inside of the hub. Okay, that'll help in future repairs if the rotor doesn't stick to it, and also if you need another brake job in the future, it's not going to be so rusted. Okay, then you put your rotor on, You need to put your caliper bracket on, and make sure you push your pistons in, and then you can put your calipers back on. Got your rotor on, put your bolt in there, snug it up. Put your caliper bracket on, snug your bolts up, and then torque them to factory specs. I think it's around 70 foot-pounds. You should look it up. Now all you need to do is push our pistons back in. Now if you notice, pads are a little bit different. Okay, this is the inner pad, allow for the pistons. This is the outer pad, just get the bracket from the caliper. Okay, inner pad, outer pad. All right. When you put your pads in, make sure you get it past this clip. Start at the bottom. Put the bottom in first. Past it. Make sure you push that one onto that part of the clip. Get it in there and then push. And then push it in. You get it past that clip. And these will stay in there like so. Then you can put your caliper on. Okay, push my boots in there so they don't get stuck on the pad. Okay. Put my caliper on and put my caliper bolts on and tighten my bolts up. Those are like 35, but you better look it up. Factory specs. Caliper bolts. Okay. Calipers on, caliper bolts in. Remember, these are 19. Two 19s, and the other ones are 18. And these about like 35 foot-pounds, the other one's like 70. Make sure you look it up, the factory specs. Don't rely upon me. Okay. Now I've got them all done. Both sides are done. I'm gonna put your tires on, and then your lug nuts, and then tighten your lug nuts up to 140 foot-pounds. Okay, if you're gonna replace a caliper, make sure you put the bleeder up, okay? Bleeder goes up. If the bleeder's down here, you got it on the wrong side. How many times I see people do that? Okay, I'm done. Don't forget to torque your wheel studs, your nuts, lug nuts. Okay, thank you.